Martin, and in this masterclass, I'm going to show you 3 golden keys to unlock your highest relational and erotic potential through the wisdom of Tantra. And I'm going to show you also how to apply this professionally with your clients or students if you work professionally in this field. So in this masterclass, you're going to get practical tools and tips to be able to take sex or relationships from bad, if that's where you are, and look, no judgment here, because that's where I have been so many times in my life. I have fallen asleep during sex. I have been super numb and shut down. I have been deeply traumatized in my life, or relationships, right? I have had toxic communication. I have been on the fence and not able to jump full in my relationships. I know what it's like to have my childhood imprinting be so intense that I cannot have the long-term relationship that I desire. So if you're in a bad place, you are in the right place, because you can use this to go from bad to good. Or if you're in a good place, right? If you are having good sex, but you know there's more. If it's like, wow, my relationship is happy or nice, or we've got some skills and tools, but I know there is a higher level. This is for you too, because I've also been having good sex and good relationships, but I have known that part of my life path was to go to the next level. And the next level I call sacred. So you'll also learn a little bit about sacred sexuality and sacred relationship, what that is and how you can get there, whether you're starting from bad, no judgment, good, or anywhere along the path, how you can get to outrageously good. So if you're sitting here being like, why should I trust some chick on the internet with my sex life, my love life, and maybe even my professional career? I want to take you down memory lane into my colorful past so you can understand the depth of my dedication and education in these traditions in both the scientific and spiritual realms, so that you can also understand where everything I'm sharing with you today comes from. So that you're starting from bad or good or anywhere on the spectrum, this training is for you. And if you're interested in professional development, I'm also going to share how you can use these keys to transform the lives of your clients so you can feel more confident building a coaching practice in this field and charging premium prices for your sessions. So how did I become a professional sex witch? I first traveled to Tibet and India when I was 15 years old, and I began studying classical and neo-tantra in India a few years later. If you're wondering, classical tantra is a thousands of years old spiritual tradition from India. It involves things like energy awakening, goddess worship, and the use of Sanskrit mantras to activate inner powers. And neo-tantra takes those underlying principles to show you how to have way better sex with things like energy orgasms, pussy massage, and conscious relationship practices. I honestly love both paths. I practice both and I teach both. I spent over a decade in Asia dedicating myself to these lineages as a spiritual practitioner. It sounds romantic, and actually it really was, but it was also a lot of living in huts with giant rats 2 times the size of my hands and crying a lot because I was so broke. And while I eventually moved to Los Angeles and built a very successful career where the rats and brokenness are gone, I stayed with the Tantra as a lifetime devotion, and I've been a tantric practitioner for over 21 years now. This is also why when I teach spirituality, I teach it through a dimension of enhancing your human experience. How can you use spiritual alignment, spiritual power, and spiritual truth to also come into more harmony with the universe, which is abundant, which has blessings showering down on us at all times? What does it look like to have a spiritual alignment that makes you express your highest financially, personally, relationally, and in your dharma as well? I began my academic career when I was 17 years old at Stanford University in the human biology and pre-med departments, where I was training to become a doctor before I realized that the real healing I wanted to do was far more spiritual. But I've kept my education in psychology, anatomy, and neurobiology, and my respect for science, and it continues to inform the work I do today. So I've been teaching now for 16 years. I've worked with over 15,000 paying clients and built one of the most successful and influential tantric brands and businesses in the world. I've reached over 150 million people with my innovative content and teachings, things like this. Hi, I'm Layla. I'm reporting to you live from the bathtub, and we're going to talk about 5 ways that you can squirt female ejaculation and this.
But we are here today to teach you about intergalactic anal orgasms, the kind of anal orgasms that unite you with the universe.
I'm the host of This Tantric Life, a top 10 podcast on Spotify for relationships and sexuality, and the creator of the Vita method, a tantric approach to sex, love, and relationships that blends mystical tools with modern research to transform how we love and make love. But the thing that I am the most proud of is the work I've done personally and spiritually. Because you see, there wasn't a lot of hope for me in sex and relationships as I experienced sexual abuse and abandonment from my biological father and complex PTSD growing up that made it extremely difficult to have sex, relate to men, or form healthy romantic relationships. Because I had such difficult experiences sexually and relationally, I have personally worked my ass off to master these tools and to understand how to transform some of the deepest traumas that we can go through as humans. I've dedicated my life to doing the work, both to trauma healing, coaching, therapy, and tantra. And as a result, I'm so proud of who I am now as a sexual being, a goddess, a leader, and the kind of partnership that I can form now with a man. I have such respect for who I have become as a partner, as a woman, and as a lover. I'm also bisexual and extremely proud of that, but I didn't have to work so hard for that, except at learning how to pleasure a pussy, which is indeed extremely challenging. So much of what I teach, I mastered by necessity through the school of hard knocks, so I could stand here before you and say that no matter what you have been through, there is not only hope, but a chance to have the most exquisitely magical and fulfilling sex and relational life that you desire. So let's dive into the 3 keys which will powerfully transform your sex life and your intimate relationships. So the first golden key is that sex is an expression of your nervous system, not your worth. Relationship is an expression of your nervous system, not your worth. What do I mean by this? We tend to think that the kind of sex we're having has to do with how worthy we are. So whether I'm lovable enough, sexy enough, good enough, hot enough, sexual enough, erotic enough, turned on enough, right? And when sex isn't going right, we have a tendency to be hard on ourselves, right? I have never heard anyone say, gee, my childhood was so difficult and the religious programming and misogynistic porn culture really messed with my nervous system. So no wonder I feel numb. No wonder I have a hard time orgasming. No wonder it's challenging to love my body. Instead, I hear people say, and I said this myself, I'm broken. There's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. So learning this key is about learning to overturn the way in which when you do not recognize how a world that is built on sex negativity, a toxic relationship to the body, right? Criticizing it, judging it, controlling it rather than revering it. Harm towards women, right? Being unsafe with how we treat women sexually in the world, or people of all genders, honestly. This is not a safe world for almost anybody in the way that it could be so that we could thrive sexually. We don't look at how that has shut down our nervous system and complicated the way that we experience intimacy. Instead, we turn it in on ourselves. So when you really get this golden key, you can look around and say, how did my nervous system get imprinted around sex? And then how did my nervous system get imprinted around relationship? And what that will do for you is that you can look around and say, what messages, what somatic imprinting got programmed into my nervous system such that the sex that I'm having makes sense? So if I got told, let me use my program so we'll make this more clear. I grew up Catholic, right? So I got told it is possible that you could burn in hell, not just for a little bit, but for all of eternity, should you express yourself sexually, right? I also got complex messaging that being sexual isn't safe, right? Yeah, first from the sexual abuse, but also from my culture at large, right? If you were super sexual, you will be slut-shamed. No one will ever want to marry you. Something horrible will happen to you. You'll get an STI. You'll end up pregnant. Scary, scary, scary. Fear, 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 right? If it's not safe to express my sexuality, I will shut down my sensitivity. I will disconnect from my pleasure. You can actually see this on MRI brain scans that women predominantly who are more sensitive to social cues of what's appropriate will literally develop nervous system wiring that disconnects them from the actual pleasure they're experiencing. So if it didn't feel safe to feel pleasure when you were young, your brain will actually disconnect you from the pleasure that you are feeling or would be capable of feeling to keep you safe. Right? On top of that, I also got messaging that I should be a total sex object, that I should be desirable at all times. And what that did was it made me perfectionistic and self-critical. On top of all of this, what happened is that because I didn't feel safe to be sexy, to be erotically expressed, to be filled with pleasure, right? Slut shaming is a subtle death threat because we are tribal creatures. We need community to survive, especially as women or gender nonconforming people, right? We really need that group community protection. And so when we get slut shamed, and it's saying to us, you will be thrown out of the community. You will not belong to this group should you be sexual. What happens is that we actually imprint into our nervous systems. If I were to be fully sexual, I might die. Now think of what that might do to your orgasm. Think of what that might do to your erotic desire. And we look around and instead of saying, oh, all of that fear-based negativity and messaging probably made my body tense up and shut down my desire and my erotic blueprint and my intimate capacity. So no wonder with all that tension and all that disconnection, I might feel numb. I might struggle to experience my full sexuality. And even if I orgasm easily, I might do so from a place of tension or pushing or orgasming very quickly rather than surrendering into the bliss and beauty of what is possible for my body, right? And this kind of programming, it's global, it's worldwide, and it's happened to people of all genders. It is systemic. So if we want to undo this kind of toxic conditioning, right, we have to do practices that reach the nervous system. Instead of trying to master new tools and skills, which we can totally do, right? It's great to have good skills in the bedroom. It's great to learn how to give a better blowjob or go down on her more amazingly. But if we put those skills on top of a nervous system that feels like sex is unsafe, that it is not okay to experience the depth and power of our orgasmic potential, those tools won't get us to the kind of sex that we crave. Additionally, there's all kinds of programming around our relationship capacity. If we didn't feel safe to be our full selves as kids, if we didn't get our needs met, if love felt suffocating or unreliable or scary even, we can say in our heads all we want. We want this amazing relationship. We want to be in love with our partner. We want to have epic sex. But if we are wired to be scared of connection, wired to feel like we need connection so much that we might die without it or something horrible would happen without it, we're not free to love the way that we were built to love. And again, so much of how we express ourselves in relationship in modern culture is an expression of us feeling unsafe. Because how many amongst us felt truly safe to be ourselves, to be connected, to have boundaries, to get our needs met when we were young? And that imprinting, if we never do the deeper work, stays locked in our nervous systems. And so no matter what our desired relationship is, it doesn't matter what you want. It matters what your nervous system is programmed to believe is safe. So if you want to change your relationship experience, whether you're in a long-term relationship, but you want it to become more intimate, more amazing, and deeper, or you are dating and looking for a partner, you want to up-level and heal your nervous system so that you become magnetic to a higher level partner, or you inspire growth, change, and transformation in the partnership that you already have. Now, there are tools available at our disposal, but they are powerful tools like breath work, energy work, meditation, reprogramming of belief systems. And very rarely do we ever take the time to do this directly on our sexuality, directly on our relational imprinting, so that we can free ourselves to have the kind of sex and relationships that we not only desire, but we're born to have. So I'm going to break down how this happens in the nervous system. Any signaling at all that being fully sexy is unsafe or expressing your sexuality is unsafe will actually create tension in the body. Why? Because we tense to protect ourselves. And usually if there's uncomfortable feelings associated with that, so let's say that we get taught that our pussy's disgusting or there's something wrong with our body or our desire is shameful, we'll literally contract around these uncomfortable feelings. That contraction at first will create things like numbness. So when people are like, I don't feel enough during sex, this is numbness from feeling unsafe, right? It can create things like pain. So when we tense too much, it's not like we're consciously tensing. It just happens over time, the way that you develop tension in your muscles, in your back, right? You're not sitting there being like, oh, I'm going to clench my back. Your back just gets tighter and tighter. The same thing happens in our pelvic floor with our sexuality until we end up with pain. Now, over time, all of these uncomfortable and embedded feelings and all of the tension makes it so unfriendly, right? I'll use that word, to be in our body during sex, that we move out of our heart and out of our body into our head. We'll start making to-do lists or close our eyes and fantasize about someone else or something else, right? We'll check out or we'll sit there thinking like, why am I not orgasming faster? This can create things like erectile dysfunction, anxiety during sex, or something where we get very habituated during sex and go hard and fast and use the same fantasy over and over again. Now, this is a shameless space, a shame-free space, right? I used to like tighten my legs and touch my clitoris really hard. And I always had to fantasize to have an orgasm with one of my partners. Even after I became a known sex coach in my industry, right? And I was very transparent about this. That was because I still had shame around my primal lust. I was still terrified of my deepest sexual surrender. And rather than feel the shame or the terror and relax, open my body and deal with my nervous system, I would go up into habitual fantasizing. Now, here's the thing. So much of what so many of us have experienced in sex that we don't like, right? A disconnected partner, a partner shutting their eyes, a partner fantasizing, being somewhere else, right? Or in ourselves, disconnecting from our own bodies, going numb, not being able to have the depth and sensitivity that we crave. It's not because there's something wrong with us or something wrong with our partners. It's that neither us or our partners feel safe. Now, here's the thing. It's a whole journey to have your nervous system feel safe during sex. But there are tools that when you apply them to your nervous system can switch the signals of being unsafe to safe. And this is what will unlock your sexual potential. The same thing happens in intimacy. I felt so unsafe, right, because of what happened with my dad, to love, to connect. So to protect my precious heart, I had all kinds of triggers. I'd get really angry. I'd attack my partners. I'd attract partners who weren't so good for me or I didn't care about that much so that I would feel safe from ever feeling heartbreak or abandonment again. But again, while there's nothing wrong with this, there's nothing to be ashamed of. What happens is that no matter how much I desired to be in a healthy, beautiful, intimate partnership, all of my feelings that love was unsafe pushed away the kind of partnership that I was capable of deep down in my soul. And so I had to do the work to feel safe to love. Now, when we don't feel safe to love, we act avoidant. We push away our partners. We criticize our partners. We judge ourselves, or we just shut down our hearts and live in our heads. So much of the objectification in relationship, right? I'll get this like big, strong man or this beautiful woman on my arm. And, you know, I will feel worthy or okay because of who my partner is. This comes from not feeling safe to love, not feeling safe to be in our hearts. And so again, the answer isn't to decide that there are no good men out there, or everyone out there sucks, or there's no good partners left, or there's something wrong with my partner in front of me, or to ghost or check out or be hurtful in our communication. The answer is to work on the nervous system with love and compassion, and to step by step unbind the pain that has been woven into our bodies and hearts so that we can feel safe to love again. And once we do that, the relationship of our dreams, whether it's with the person we've been with for 10 or 20 years, or the person we're about to meet, becomes possible. Because no matter what you want in your head, you cannot create beyond what your nervous system feels is safe. Your nervous system will never create a reality beyond what it believes you can survive, because our most primal instinct in this human body is survival. If you want a better nervous system, if you want a better sex life and a better relational life, you have got to work with your nervous system. So let's pause here and take a moment to do a quick practice that can help us release a little bit of this. So first we're going to do a community practice, and then we're going to do a personal practice. So those of you here listening to the Masterclass, I'm going to invite you to share in the chat, what is some of the negative programming or messaging that you received around sex or around love? What made you feel unsafe to be fully sexual or fully in your heart, especially when you were younger? Please go ahead and share that in the chat. Now, how many of you can relate to what's being shared? If you can relate to that, say yes. Yeah. So a first step in healing is normalizing this, because so many of us feel alone. We feel like it's just us, or we feel like we're broken. You're not. We have all experienced so much shared pain around this, and we can heal individually and together. So the next thing I'm going to invite you to share in the comments is, what is one way in which this negative programming, where your nervous system didn't feel safe to be sexual or to love, what is the one way that this has negatively impacted your life? A struggle in your sex life, a struggle in your relational life. Please go ahead and share that in the chat. Once you've shared, taking a moment to read the shares from others. And also sharing, how does it make you feel to read this? As you read through the comments and the experiences of others, how does it make you feel? So here's the thing. Sometimes we feel ashamed, or like we don't want to be open about these struggles. And yet it opens our hearts. It makes us feel compassion, right? We start to understand that what we're struggling with is universal. And this is so important for those of us who teach or coach, right, in this field, is understanding how much pain there is, but also how much all of us are going through this, myself included, right? Myself included. Now I'm going to invite you to go ahead and close your eyes, and you can place one hand over your heart, one hand over your lower belly. And together we're going to take 3 deep breaths and just really tune in to our bodies and our sensations. Good. And from here, I'm going to invite you to feel an iridescent bubble surrounding your body. Everything I invite you to do is always an invitation, so you follow your truth no matter what. But when you feel this iridescent bubble, like giving you a universal hug, encouraging you to relax, to soften, and I want you to feel down into your pelvis, into your genitals, whether it's a cock, a pussy, intersex genitals. Just get in there. I want you to ask yourself the question and to feel it from here. What kind of sex could I have if sex was safe? What kind of sex could I have if being fully sexual was safe? Safe to express, safe to desire, safe to follow my impulses, obviously always consensually between adults. How could I be? What could I experience in sex? What would sex be like, feel like? What could happen if I knew that sex was safe? Just feel into that. And I love to always bless our visions of what's possible. So I'm going to invite you, if you wish, to say 7 yeses out loud to this path of your sexuality, of being fully expressed. Yes, 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 yes. Now I'm going to invite you to move up into your heart. Have your awareness in the center of your heart. And I want you to feel for a moment that to love is safe. What if it was safe to love? Some of you might immediately say, but what if I get my heart broken? What if I get abandoned? What if my partner passes away? What if? What if you could still be safe in your heart, in the eternal love and beauty and gratitude of the universe? Through all the trials and tribulations of life, what if it was safe to love, to give love, to receive love all the way? Because you know what? Your heart's going to break either way. Whether it's from being at your beloved partner's deathbed, whether it's from a breakup, whether it's from challenging things happening, if you love in this lifetime, it's going to hurt. So why not let it hurt? With a wide open heart, why not make it safe to love? And I want you to feel, if it was safe to love, what could I have in relationship or my relationship? If it was safe to love and be loved, what could I have in relationship or in my relationship? Feeling that from the center of your heart. And again, I'm going to invite you to bless this vision, to align with this vision if it feels true to you, with 7 yeses out loud. Yes, 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 yes. I want you to feel as we wrap up, truly what has blocked you in sex and relationships is not your fault. It's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's not because you're broken. It's because you have felt unsafe. And you can learn to be safe again. If I have learned to be safe in this world, in sex and in love, by no means in a perfect way, you can too. We all can. So I invite you to open your eyes. If you wish, you can share in the chat. What's your vision for sex? What's your vision for relationship when sex and love are safe? If you feel like doing a little blessing for others, a little raise the vibration, you can say yes to people, yes to their vision, yes to their creation, yes to their safety. You just type it in the chat. It feels really good. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for opening into what is possible. So safety is just the first step. It's just the foundation. Where do we go from here? Into golden key number 2. So let's drop into golden key number 2. So our highest level sex and intimacy has been systematically shut down. Now, why is this so important to understand? If you think about it, when you are in your deepest erotic pleasure and power, it opens your heart and eventually activates your spiritual power. These are the teachings of Tantra. It's interconnected, sex, heart, and spirit. So in the past few thousand years of patriarchy, of misogyny, of trauma, and of religious oppression, of goddess religions, of female spiritual wisdom, of magic and energy practices, what has happened is that to keep people quiet, to keep them existing in a world that doesn't make any sense. Why are we not all just in love with our bodies? Why do we not just all make love in the most beautiful way? Why do we all not feel safe to love and be in sacred partnership? Because if we experienced that, we would be so powerful, spiritually sovereign. And for a few thousand years, there have been powerful forces, religiously, socially, that didn't want people in their power. And this isn't just about taking away women's power. It's about taking away men and people of all gender expressions out of their personal power so that they can be told who and what God is, so they can be told how to behave, so that they can spend their entire lives working a low-wage job for someone else and die not even realizing the depth and level of magic and spiritual power within them. This is what's happening on the planet right now, and this is what has been happening for a few thousand years. The reason that we're so disconnected from our spiritual, erotic, and intimate power is not an accident. And so understanding that we have been systematically taught to be afraid of our own sexual and intimate expression is so important because it gives us the courage to start to do the work, to start to use the tools to unwind this painful legacy within us. Now, the more we have embodied and taken on that sex negativity, the worse our sexual expression will be. And so on top of all of this trauma and negative programming and religious toxicity around sex, right, which isn't original religion, it's a distortion of original religion. We now have porn culture. We now have the toxicity of media. We now have Instagram where you're like, oh my God, everyone's having the best time ever. And you know it's not true, but you still feel it when you're scrolling. You're like, oh, they're having the best sex, the best relationship. I'm broken. It's not true. We're all suffering from the systematic loss of our power. And what happens is that we have actually regressed from sacred sexual ability to good sex being like the highest that we can imagine. But for most of us, we've actually moved into bad sex. We've fallen from being able to have sacred partnership, sacred relationship, to just accepting good relationship at best. But for many of us, falling into bad relationship. And I have been there. I know how painful it is. So overcoming this legacy looks like moving from bad sex to good sex to sacred sex, from bad relationship to good relationship to sacred relationship. And here's the thing, sacred relationship and sacred sex is everyone's birthright. We are all magical. We are all powerful, and we all deserve a return to our sacred birthright. And sacred doesn't mean it never gets wild or primal or raw. It means we know ourselves as divine in the experience and expression of our humanity. It means we know our partners as divine in the experience and expression of our sexuality together, no matter what the flavor is. And all flavors, if we're into them, are welcome. So let's walk through this little ladder of what does bad sex look like? What does good sex look like? What does sacred sex look like? And if you have some ideas, you can chime in too. So bad sex looks like disconnecting and fantasizing while you're with a partner, going too hard, too fast, not feeling enough, being not here, performing, judging ourselves and our partners, and so much more. Good sex looks like being intimate and connected, playing with the whole range of experiences, but definitely being able to go slow and take our time, being highly sensitive in our bodies and hearts, being authentic, being open and non-judgmental. And sacred sexuality looks like seeing the divine in our partner, energy play that opens us into an ocean of exploration like yoga or meditating with sex, having downloads, spiritual awakenings, and higher visions while making love, being fully sexually expressed, allowing for sexual healing and deep empowerments for ourselves and our partners, right? And all of us can move from bad or good sex to sacred sex. And sacred sex doesn't mean that you don't have elements of good sex. It just means that you don't stop at good sex. Now, what does a bad relationship look like? A bad relationship looks like constant fighting or arguments, being against each other in competition for getting your needs met, toxic, abusive, narcissistic trauma bonding, sexless or dissociated, numb relationships, being unexpressed, having no communication, not being self-responsible or owning projections. Good relationships look like conscious discussions and quick repairs of disagreements or ruptures, being on the same team, having a healthy, supportive, empowered connection. They're romantic, erotic, and intimate, truthful, and honest. And sacred relationships look like spiritual practices and rituals done together, being each other's teachers and healers in a healthy way, being agents of alchemy in each other's spiritual and personal growth, having enlightenment and spiritual realization be a part of sex and relating, living truth and surrender together. So most transformational systems will focus on going from bad to good. But here's the thing, the world is ready for sacred. It is so important that we all start moving to sacred and to understand that because there have been forces and institutions which have systematically shut down our sexual and intimate power, right? You don't just get to close the door, go into your own bedroom and get rid of your shame or your disgust or your sense of alienation from your own body. You have to do the work to love your body and to know it as the temple that it is. You have to do the work to be able to get to sacred partnership, right? And that doesn't mean if you're in a long-term marriage that you have to get a divorce. No, you can transform a good relationship or even a bad one. I've seen that happen into sacred partnership. But the point of key number 2 is to realize that unless you do the work, that level of transformation will not happen because you weren't born to just have bad sex or bad relationship. You were born to have sacred sex and sacred relationship. But this force of trauma and misogyny and now porn brainwashing and media brainwashing and social media brainwashing has actually worked against us so that we are disconnected from our highest sex and relational capacity. So we have to recognize that to get to where we want to go is a path, and we have to give ourselves the sacred space to use the tools to transform the fear-based imprinting out of our nervous systems and restore our ability to love and make love as we were born to do. So this brings us to key number 3, which is that everyone has the capacity for these next level sex, intimacy, and relationship experiences. They are not just for a chosen few. It is the birthright of all of us. And Tantra left us keys to unlock our highest and most fulfilling sexual and relational potential. Because Tantra tells us that our body is sacred, that sex can be a ritual to divine awakening, that relationships can be a spiritual experience, And Tantra also left us tools to get there. Breath work, powerful mind shifts, energy activations and healings, practices for deep ancestral healing so we can liberate ourselves from what our ancestors had to go through and the limiting beliefs that got programmed into our nervous systems. Kundalini activation. This is the activation of goddess consciousness within us. It's one of the most powerful things that we can experience in this lifetime. These tools make sacred sex and sacred relating available to absolutely everyone, to you, and if you teach and lead in this field, to your students or clients. Everybody can touch this level of intimacy and aros, and people are craving this healing. So with the right tools, we can calm the parts of us that are scared so we feel safe to feel again. We can shift out of the negative fear-based beliefs and imprints and replace them with empowering ones. We can apply mystical tools of powerful transformation to unlock our highest sexual and relational capacity. And in doing this, we literally transform our nervous systems. So where most of us are stuck in relationship and in sex is actually called the default mode network. This is when our brain goes into habit and loops over and over again. It knows what's going to happen. It sits in a world of fantasy and criticism and judgment. When we use the powerful tools of Tantra, we can literally quiet that part of our mind through breathing, through energy work, through meditation, and activate the deep somatic presence within us that allows us to unlock who we are as sexual and relational beings in our truth. This is Vita, a tantric approach to sex, love, and relationships. So I don't just throw around the word science. I have a deep respect for evidence-based practices that will accelerate your client's transformation in the most powerful ways. So I will educate you to become trauma-informed so that you and your clients are held safely in such a potent container of transformation. At Vita, we train you in extensive transformational tools and a unique methodology so that you experience the transformation for yourself and are able to accelerate a client's progress to get them incredible results as they elevate from bad to good to sacred sexuality and relationships. And we do all of this with a deep commitment to belonging and inclusion so that you are able to start from wherever you are, be honest about who you are, what challenges you, and move to the level of sexual and relational expansion that feels most fulfilling to you. So if you are here to also create life-changing sex, love, and relationship coaching for others so that you can take this deep transformation that you've experienced for yourself and help others in a similar way, Vita is here for you. So in the Vita coaching certification, I endeavor to not only train you to be masterful in your skills and tools, to professionalize your healing and energetic abilities, your spiritual wisdom and insight so that you can make the kind of money that you desire, but I train you in business skills as well because it's a hobby. If you are not making money, you need to be able to support yourself, and business is a skill. Selling is a skill. And so I put you through an extensive process that allows you to become skillful at the art of business and sales. So what would make a client want to invest $5,000 or $10,000 for a 6-month coaching package with you? They want results. They want to feel your confidence, and they want to feel your transmission. So with the Vita coaching certification, you will be masterful at all three. Confidence comes from trusting in the results you can get in your own personal transmission. A transmission means that instead of talking about love, I experience the safety of love for myself and can transmit that somatic experience to others. Instead of just talking about sexual liberation or orgasmic expression, while I will never be perfect at sexual liberation or have fully achieved it, it's always an ongoing practice. I'll never be perfect at orgasmic expression. I can hold the transmission of what sexual liberation feels like for me and others. I can hold the somatic imprint of what the most mind-blowing orgasmic experience is, and then what you are capable of. When clients feel your transmission, that's when they feel drawn to working with you. When they understand the results you can get them, they will want to invest in you, but your confidence seals the deal. So in Vita coaching, we not only train you in how to have coaching confidence in a session so that you feel professional mastery, things like body language, how to ask questions, how to have full presence, how to speak in a way that inspires your clients. But we also train you extensively so that you can have confidence about the results that you offer others. Our 100+ hours of practicums that we require you to do for graduation is part of this, because you will see over and over and over again how life-changing your work can be. With a graduate level training in systems that incorporates mysticism and science, you can become one of the most skilled and in-demand professionals in your field. So this program goes so deep. It provides 600 hours of professional training and 100+ hours of practicums where you actually do the coaching and receive the coaching yourself. This program does things differently. So we start you out with a 4-month personal deep dive so that you can explore your own sexuality, heart, and way of relating. You'll fully embody and use the tools and practices that you'll be guiding your clients through so that you can grow into your greatest gifts and capacity in sex and relationships. This will help you feel confident in your ability to get results for your clients because you embody your coaching transmission from deeply doing the work yourself. In this program, we do a lot of live practices and live calls, so you can watch the replays at your own time and your own schedule and leisure. But if you like the live experience, we do so many live calls in each module. Our live practices are designed to empower you and to invite you to construct your own personalized self-pleasure practice. Practicing what you coach is a necessity for not getting imposter syndrome or feeling like a fraud, but for staying fully aligned with the techniques, tools, and experiences that you will offer your clients. We also offer coaching development calls live so that you can learn both the skill and the art of coaching others to achieve real results. We train you in things like, and we test and review your ability to do these things so that you develop true confidence and coaching professionalism. You'll also receive a training in the Vita methodology. This is an exclusive 10-module system that allows you to skillfully guide your coaching clients through a systematic journey of personal growth. This Tantra-based, trauma-informed, science-backed somatic coaching approach empowers individuals to attain clarity about their desires and effectively resets their nervous system so that they can experience greater sexual and relational expression and satisfaction. When you move into trimester 2, you get professionally trained in the coaching methodology. This requires you to do 100+ practicums between trimester 2 and your majors to be able to professionally develop and receive feedback and guidance along the way so that you can sit in true coaching mastery. The comprehensive business bootcamp uplevels your wealth mindset and gives you the foundational sales skills to begin charging $150 to $1,000 an hour for your coaching and to comfortably sell high-end coaching packages of $1,500 to $10,000 per client. Now, while we can never guarantee that you will make any amount of money in graduating this program, we can give you all of the training that will set you up for success. You'll also get the opportunity to attend the optional Vita Coaching Live Retreat, where you will experience a profound embodiment process like no other, giving you a comfort with your body, sexuality, and energy, and allowing you to guide in the most incredible ways. You'll experience these powerful tools live with me, Layla, and our senior Vita teachers in beautiful Costa Rica. Hi, I'm Layla Martin. I have been teaching and studying classical and neo-tantra for over 20 years.
Level of holding and care that Layla offers is what really allowed me to arrive in myself.
I found that she's not only extremely intelligent and wise beyond her years, but also that she has such a deep compassion and commitment to help nurture each woman into experiencing more pleasure within her own body.
The deep container of safety and radiance that Layla holds is absolutely priceless.
Leila is an amazing coach and she'll be there for you 100%.
So Vita Coaching is one of the most comprehensive sex, love, and relationship professional certifications available. I'd love for you to hear from some of our graduates what they've experienced in this program.
I am here to tell you that this program is genuine. It is radically transformative. It is true empowerment work that I haven't found anywhere else.
I swear that it will change your life.
This is a program meant for healing.
It gives you the tools to live.
Feeling the liberation of your sexuality and knowing just how precious and sacred and healing to feel finally like my true self.
This is what I need to sign up for. I could feel it in my whole body saying, go towards this, say yes, join this program. You are meant to be a coach. You are meant to do this work. And I'm so grateful that I have.
And 100% of our graduates say the program was worth it in our post-program survey. 99.7% say they would recommend the program to their friends. 95% say the program changed their life. And 95% of our graduates said the program made them a better coach. So if you are feeling the yes or even the maybe to join this program, the next step is to fill out your application and to complete it. So you can find the application on the link on the screen. So you can choose to major in the areas of female sexuality, jade or crystal egg, men's sexuality, conscious dating, tantric sex, relationship transformation, life transitions, or women's empowerment. By becoming a specialist, the majors allow you to charge even more for your premium coaching sessions. Why? Because specialists always make more than generalists. Think about it. A neurosurgeon or a gastroenterologist makes more than the family doctor. Why? Because they have specialist training. So our majors allow you to mix and match where you feel most drawn, where you have the most interest, to go even deeper in your education and to make yourself even more specialized. Imagine what you could do with these additional majors. You can be a relationship transformation specialist with a focus on tantric sex and female sexuality. You can be a men's sexuality specialist with a focus on conscious dating and tantric sex. You could be a women's empowerment specialist with a focus on life transformations and the jade or crystal egg practices. So if you're like, yeah, the training sounds amazing, but I have no idea how it would ever go from where I am to charging something like $5,000 for a coaching package, that's where the business bootcamp part of the program comes in. So while I can never guarantee, and we can never guarantee that you will make any amount of money after graduation, we can give you the absolute best training to give you the best chance. So in our business bootcamp, you'll be shown how to create a unique, soul-centered business that is true to you, marketing and sales that feel loving and authentic, a coaching package built on your unique superpowers. You'll also be trained in wealth consciousness so that you feel comfortable talking about and charging premium prices for your session. You'll learn a step-by-step enrollment sales call methodology that helps you to effortlessly enroll clients into premium coaching packages and feels good for both of you. You'll learn how to make content for an entire year that is inspiring and actually sells your coaching packages on the platform of your choice, whether that is podcasting, Instagram, email, or public speaking. So a coaching business as a sex, love, and relationship coach looks like this. We overcomplicate it. Number one, understanding your business and who you serve. Number two, developing a premium coaching package that reflects this and uses the methodology you're trained in. And later you can make online courses, retreats, speaking, and books as well. Number three, making soulful, high-value content on the platform of your choice. This is like Instagram or podcasting or email. Number four, attracting your ideal clients with that content. Number five, selling them into your discovery call. Number six, doing a discovery call with them in a step-by-step enrollment process. And number seven, some of them saying yes. This is how you build a career. So we're going to train you in each part of this business model step by step so you can launch your business on Instagram or a traditional website, podcast, or even by word of mouth referrals, whatever feels the most aligned with you and who you are here to serve. We'll simplify the model so that you get to focus on what you love, working with clients, making awesome content, and enrolling people in programs that change lives. And finally, I know that you may be questioning where you're at in life, whether you're qualified to give sex, love, and relationship advice, or even go near spiritual training if you're just getting started. So many of us are worried that if we aren't in the perfect 20-year marriage with perfect children or having the perfect orgasms, that we don't deserve to coach. And this is simply not true. Your unique story and unique journey are what magnetize your ideal clients to you. And I can say from personal experience that where you are challenged the most often becomes where you have a superpower in coaching. I can show you how to get out of hell because I broke out of there myself. This program is normally $15,000. And even on Instagram, when people are like, that's so expensive, we have our graduates who I don't pay, I don't talk to, nothing like that. Get on and say, this program is worth more than anything I have ever invested in. Truly, they say that. It's so amazing and life-changing. It is hard to fully express that if this is your program, what this year can do for you. So this life-changing program is only worth it if you deeply want to do the work. It's only worth it if you want to invest your time and energy. And our commitment to you is that if you do the program and complete the coursework, you will be thrilled with your own personal transformation and feel massively up-leveled in your skill set and ability to sell your coaching packages as a coach. This is the satisfaction guarantee. If you do this program and the work in it and you aren't satisfied with the results, then we will offer you a full refund. You can find out more details about this in the program terms and conditions, or you can book a call with one of our program specialists to learn more. So I can offer the satisfaction guarantee because I know that our graduates are satisfied. I trust that you will see tremendous results from doing this program. I'm so excited to see you inside of Vita Coaching. If you feel called, it is my highest honor and pleasure to do this level of work with you in this lifetime and to support you to professionalize your healing and energetic gifts so that you can support yourself, giving your gifts and doing what you love.